Welcome to the Palo Santo and Thoughts podcast. As I light the Palo Santo, let us reset the space, allowing new energy and new thoughts to enter. What was does not automatically become what is, and even if it does, it does not mean it always will. Let us release what we must to receive what we must. It is mine. It is yours. What is for us will always be Ashe.
Welcome back. What's up to the old homies? What's up to the new homies? I'm Carter, and this is the Palo Santo and Thoughts podcast. Today, I'm joined with another homie, Reggie. And so Reggie is a sports industry professional who also just dropped an album. Shout out to you, bro. It's really dope, man.
Appreciate it.
Welcome to the space, man. I really appreciate you pulling up. I wanted to see if you had anything that you wanted to share with the homies.
Like he mentioned, I just dropped the album with my boy Key Wayne, Grammy-winning producer.
Hey.
I worked with him when all his projects. He's rapping and everything, but now I kind of did my own thing, but along with him as a collab album. So go get that. It's called Doge, D-O-Z, by R. Doge and Key Wayne. So appreciate anybody that has listened to it so far and some good music.
Yeah. For sure, man. Hey, let me tell you, for those who don't know Reggie, man, Reggie has the ear, y'all. So anytime Reggie says some good music, some good music, it's good music, yo. Like every single time. Yeah, man. Well, so welcome to the podcast, man. So how are you feeling?
I'm good, man. Feeling good. Holiday season.
Yeah.
Just got back from Detroit this week. Or last week. Birthday was last week. Thanksgiving, same day as my birthday.
Yeah.
It was a hectic week, but it's a great week.
That's dope. Yeah, I know your birthday celebrations are always epic, man. So
Something like that.
yeah, that's good though, man. Family time is super critical, man. I had a chance to go to DC, the DMV area, and it was really good to have a chance to spend time with family. You know what I mean? It's been a minute since I've had a chance to be there that long, and I was like, this is good. So I was like really thankful for that.
Yeah,
So.
it makes a difference. I mean, neither one of us live near our families. Well, you closer than I am, but still, it's always good to go back.
Exactly. That's good. Well, before we get into like the flow, I always like to have a chance to kind of set the intention for like what we want the space to look like. And so for you, what is one intention that you want to put into the space?
I'm just here for a good conversation, man. We had these talks between ourselves, off camera, off mic.
Yeah.
So, it's just cool doing it for us and for the people that actually get to be a fly on the wall and listen to, one of these conversations that we've had multiple times.
For sure. But yeah, all right, cool. Well, now we put the intention to the space. We're going to have a good conversation, of course. All right, cool. So one of the things that, we always love to invite grace into the space because, life is happening. We're moving and grooving. We're doing all these different things. And so when I say grace, what I mean is kindness to self. So how have you been showing kindness to yourself? So when you think about this past week or just in general, like how have you been showing grace to yourself recently?
Yeah, I think it's been a lot going on in my life recently, and just showing myself grace and like I can't accomplish everything all at once. Whether it's my 9-to-5 job, whether it's the music stuff on the side, like I'm even showing myself grace in that. Like like once I got it done. It's like all right, I can kind of like sit back and enjoy everything now. And then, like we said, being around family, like even though it's such a great time, that's also like a hectic time, especially me having like a little one now too.
Yeah.
So it's like getting pulled in all these different ways and whatnot, but still finding time to be grounded and just have some me time and rest. That's what holidays are supposed to be about.
Yeah.
But it's kind of hard when you're not living in a city where your family is, but you still got to say yourself grace and like, hey, I can't do everything, and
Mm-hmm.
this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna chill. So that's it.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, I resonate with that too, man. Just like allowing myself more time to relax, adjusting. I think that's what I'm hearing from you is like, with the responsibilities and just the flows of things just happen at a higher pace or frequency, being able to adjust to like what you need and honoring what that is. So if that means more rest, then doing that, you know. So I love to hear that you're making space for that. It's a reminder for me to do the same, continue to do the same. Okay, cool. So now we had a chance to kind of, bringing grace into the space or really reflect on how we've been showing grace to ourselves. There's also an invitation for you all to think about how you have been showing grace to yourself or how you want to show more grace to yourself because life be happening and it's always good to just be kind to ourselves. All right. So for those who are new to the podcast, pretty much in season 1, I covered all about love, New Visions by Bell Hooks. And so pretty much I talked about each chapter of the book. And in season 2, I've been inviting new homies to have different conversations about love. And so that is what we're here today is to have that conversation about love. But before we have the conversation, we must light the Palo Santo stick, y'all. So I'm going to get the Palo Santo. Dun, dun, dun. I don't have a lighter.
I knew it.
So there's a jingle that goes with me lighting a Palo Santo stick. So feel free to jump in, if you don't, do what you do. But for those of you who don't know it, right? For those who know the song, join with me. The Palo Santo stick is lit, lit, lit. Hey, the Palo Santo stick is lit, lit, lit. Hey, the Palo Santo stick is lit, lit, lit. The Palo Santo stick is lit, All right.
I gotta put a Key Wayne beat behind that. Travis Scott ad-lib.
Hey, man, there it is, man. See, that's what I'm like, oh, man, help me out with a beat then, bro. I'm like, dang, man, But seriously, man, the Palo Santo stick, the reason why I love to light a Palo Santo stick, man, is because it brings in good vibes, So the intention behind it is just like, we get to co-create the space. So whatever existed before, it really doesn't matter. It's just about what we create now. So Palo Santo stick is lit. So I'm going to put it over here. And let's get into our conversation. All right. So in All About Love, New Vision by Bell Hooks, she spoke about this quote that she would walk by frequently. It was graffiti art, and it read, "The search for love continues even in the face of great odds." So when you think of what you've experienced and what you know of love, why do you believe the search for love must continue even in the face of great odds?
The search for love must continue in the face of great odds because this world, it operates on love, and sometimes we forget it, and it should operate on love. I mean, we can go several ways with that, whether it's like politically, communal, like every which way, like love should be like the framework for everything.
Yeah.
Like if more people show love in this country, in this world, things, I hate to be so cliche, but it really will be a better place.
Yeah.
But even we talk about like the black community and, as someone who is married, like just hearing that makes me think about like, the higher divorce rate, later down in more recent years than it was like, when our parents were getting married and during their generation and whatnot. It's just like, we have like gotten away from like the black family a little bit, which is, all encompassing love and like signifies love. And, but it's good being myself, being on that side where, I am married, I do have a child, and, kind of displaying love to my wife, between my son, and just showing that, like what a successful marriage looks like and what love looks like.
Yeah. No, it's he says something that I feel like has come up in another episode, which is like about just like divorce. You know what I mean? And especially like compared to previous generations.
Right.
Like our generation, we're seeing it a lot more.
Yeah.
And something that I was curious about was, do you think that with the divorce, like when people make a decision to say that they want to get divorced, do you feel like they're is love not there? You know, because I think for me, the reason why I asked that question for more context is that, you know, I think about our parents, right? And, you know, they stayed together through like all the craziness. And it might have, you know, depending on like the different family dynamics that we have, because I also want to acknowledge that we all have different experiences with our family and how we witness marriage, right? So depending on what you've seen, if you've seen the challenges and you've seen that from that you didn't want that, maybe there was like a decision to say, when I get, if I am in this place and I start to experience this, I'm just going to call it quits. I'm not going to continue it. So I guess for me, I would say, because I'm like, as I'm like talking through all of this, I want to make sure that I'm being mindful and intentional of like, yeah, I just want to be mindful of that. How has what you witnessed from your parents and your family informed how you view marriage?
Yeah, that's a good question. I was like, bring it on home. That's a roundabout way to get to it.
Yeah.
But to that point though, I think that does play a factor in like even what I said about the divorce rate and whatnot. But like personally for me, I mean, my parents have been married for, I'm probably gonna mess this number up, but let's say 37 years, I believe. And been married the whole time, like, you know, and primarily I've seen the ups, you know, being like the son and everything, like, you know, you around your kids, you don't really want them to see like bad times and all that. But as we get older and, you know, we've been grown for a long enough time now where you have different conversations with your parents, you know, separately, together, whatnot. So we know the real, you know, like we know there's been some tribulations, you know, everything wasn't, you know, just all honeymoon and fairy tale and Disney stories that we saw as kids. Like, you know, they went through some stuff, you know, and they might have shielded it from us, or sometimes we might have got a peek and saw it and whatnot. But I think the main thing that I've learned from my parents is just how to persevere and how to just always love one another. Like, you know, always expressing love, and no matter what they went through as a couple or individually, they always came back together, you know, and it wasn't just doing it for my sisters and myself. They were doing it for each other because, you know, that's where everything started. Like the framework and the bond started between them. And then what grew from that was me. What grew from that was my sister, and for my dad, my older sister as well. But, you know, that's how the family tree works, you know, and what they started, they kept going. And like I said, 37 years later, here they are, stronger than ever, you know. And I can say to this day, like, even just being in Detroit now, is still just like, they love each other to death. Like, literally, you can see it. You know, nobody would ever question that between them. And I try to almost 100% mimic the way they are to each other, you know, in my life.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man. Yeah, I've had a chance to witness. It's like a peek of their love. So
yeah,
you know.
I mean, you had them on here and all that, so you know, you really got the inside scoop.
Yeah. Well, more so even with seeing your parents, you know what I mean? Like, just, you know what I mean? Just like, so that is really dope, man. Something so kind of going back to what you were saying, it's like one of the lessons that I'm hearing is like persevering and always just coming back to each other. You know what I mean? And it makes me think about also just like, it sounds like that friendship component.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
For sure.
Where it sounds like because of their friendship, they're able to do that, to come back to each other.
Yeah, and I mean, if you know, I think you know a little bit of their story. They literally started out as friends. Yeah. Like, you know, went to Howard, you know, both from Detroit, and they weren't really cool in Detroit. When they went to Howard, they got cool, you know, and then my dad left after sophomore year, my mom stayed and finished. But that friendship, my mom going back to Detroit, my dad being there, and that friendship just turned into love eventually, throughout the years, and made me,
Yeah.
and then made my sister, and here we are today. So everything started out because of friendship. To your point, yeah.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's something I was like thinking about, which is, when you think about love, because I know you shared about kind of lessons that you've learned from your parents about marriage, right? But when you think of love in general, what's like one lesson about love that you've learned from a woman that you hold on to this day?
One lesson that I have learned from a woman, I really come up with a few.
We got time, man.
Oh, I know we had time. I know we had time. But always listen, always pay attention, always listen. I think that's all kind of in one. Sometimes everything isn't communicated verbally. There's a lot of nonverbal communication, or just pay attention to like another cliche thing, but the little things, like that stuff actually matters. Like, and I'm my personality. I'm a little nonchalant and all that. So like I can be laid back and chill, but I'm always listening. I'm always watching. But you can do that, but you also need to say what you observed.
Yeah.
Say what you paid attention to, like express it. And that's really the main thing I probably have learned. Because it's like, oh yeah, I'm paying attention. Like I might do something a little here, a little there. But it's a difference between me knowing it and me doing it and thinking like, oh yeah, like she's gonna pick up on that. I did that because, she said this or she did that, as opposed to just me outwardly expressing like, hey, I noticed you changed your hair, or hey, I like that outfit, or hey, when you did this the other day, like I really appreciate that, and it just goes back to the little things. So that's probably like the main thing I can say. Like I learned and had to get better at, and still have to get better at, I'd say.
Yeah, and it makes me think about is like, so Bell Hooks talks about like the different ingredients that go into love, and what it made me think about was like what you were sharing is like that recognition. The point of like recognizing your partner or just your loved ones in general. You know what I mean?
Yep, for sure. Yep, I agree. And this, I hate to like double back, but going back to the friendship thing, that's how we started. Like, but me saying that about my parents, that's literally how we started. Like literally friends for 3.5 years, 3 years, and after that, friends turned to lovers, and then post college really turned to lovers, and here we are today. So, just funny how that cycle works. But go ahead.
No, but I think that also is like, kind of going back to what you shared earlier about what you've seen, and how do you feel like that also influenced or has influenced your like the ways in which you see relationships?
It's funny you say that, because I think it influences like your whole life. And like not only just how you view relationships, but like if I think about friends of mine who are products of divorce, or never had their parents get married, and like see what they're doing, and juxtapose versus like my life and whatnot. Like you can really tell the difference of how children react to like their parents' situation or whatnot. And how that really molds them. And you don't even realize it. Like I've done a lot of stuff. I mean, even going to Howard. Like I was like, I didn't want to go to Howard because I didn't want to follow in their footsteps. And then what I do, go to Howard. And it was the best decision.
I was about to say, that was a great decision, right?
I agree. But when you're 17 years old, like it's like, all right, like I'm not trying to do that. Like that's their life. I don't want to live their life. But it's my life now, and like my life revolves around that school, like literally. So. It's just funny how it works. Like, your parents always tell you these things and give you advice and all that. And like when you're younger, you're just like, yeah, all right, like, whatever. But it's real. I mean, it makes a difference. And I mean, it's literally like I'm carbon copy at this point. It came alive.
Yeah. No, I think, what you're saying about, because it's like the two piece. I feel like every time when people talk about how we show up as individuals, like, there's a direct correlation to like our childhood, like the things that we experience in childhood and how that can show up in adulthood. But then also it's like the relational component as well, like the relationships that we've seen or witnessed, and how that impacts us as adults also is something that that comes up. And something I was like curious about, because everyone has their different experiences. That you and Chaz have been married for a minute, and so like, what would you say is like a misconception about marriage that people are like, oh, this is what marriage is. It's like, no, that's actually not true.
Yeah, I think a misconception, and this might come from like the guys more than like women.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when you married, it's like this is gonna sound extreme, but it's like your life's over.
Yeah.
It's like can't hang out with your friends anymore. Like you can't really do like all the same things you were doing before. But it's like you have fun with your wife, but we also have our lives outside each other too. Like she has her group of friends. I have my extremely large group of friends, but I have time to hang with you or hang with whoever else, and she has all the time in the world, to hang with her friends if she chooses to or chooses not to, whatever. Yeah. But that doesn't stop. Like, you can only be around each other for so much before you drive each other crazy. There's definitely time where it's like, hey, you need to go out. Yeah. Like, you need a girls' night. Yeah. Or vice versa for her. She's like, hey, you probably need to go hang with your friends and, just, go enjoy yourself. Yeah. Like, love being around each other, of course, but I think that's an important part of a relationship and a marriage is just giving each other space to enjoy yourself with other people. Like everything doesn't have to be just y'all two 24/7, 365. Like you're going to come home to each other no matter what at the end of the day and spend most of the time throughout your lives together. So just, you can always go out and hang out a little bit.
I love that. And what I'm hearing is like just like being able to tap into the community. Yeah. Like the community of supports that we both have cultivated and making sure that doesn't change just because of the relationship or the marriage. You know what I mean?
For sure. And the thing is, like your friends love your partner, or they should love your partner. So it's like all my friends love her, and like her friends like love me and whatnot. So we can also do things together, like which we have done plenty of times. Like that. So it doesn't change anything. And like even if it's not like a separate thing, like host stuff at the house, or you've been to Super Bowl parties, fights, boxing, like everything. Like you just figure out ways to do stuff with your community, like you're saying, communal and everything. And then you also have your date nights, between y'all, of course, like all the time as well. But you just can't everything just doesn't stop just because now you have a ring on your finger. Yeah. Like you still got to keep living life.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is, because I think like something that I was thinking about was like, do you feel like with like marriage and having even having a child, right? Like how has that shifted like how you like shifted like relationships, like so friendships and like let's focus on friendship. Like how do you feel like that's shifted friendships?
Yeah, and I think the child is actually a little more harder than the marriage, because having a child takes up a lot of time. But I think people also like on the outside looking in are like, oh man, shit, he got a kid now. Like he ain't gonna be able to do this, or she got a kid now, like she ain't gonna, where it's like, dang, like let me make the decision, like, like I might be able to do it, like there's just like a subtle shift in like the text or calls you used to get versus they not coming no more, or just like people hanging, and it's like, dang, like. Yeah, like I'm free today, nobody know because ain't nobody asked me. Yeah. So it's definitely a difference. But the other part of it to it is like being a parent, you ain't really missing out on nothing. Like it's so much fun just being around like your baby or your child. Like me, my son, like he'll be a year and 2 weeks. Like this year has flown by, but it's like I don't feel like I missed out on anything because I just enjoyed all the time I got to spend in his first year of life. Compared to how he came home from the hospital to now, it's like a whole different person. Yeah. So it's like all the moments I've seen, just all the progression he's made, is just like, all right, I'd rather have did that anyway. Yeah. So I'm cool.
Yeah. I was, and I feel like we've talked about this because I definitely feel like Yeah, we've definitely talked about this. Where I was like, it's like how does friends support you?
Right.
Because I'm like, I'd definitely be like, oh, yep.
I'm telling you,
I'm like, I ain't gonna hit Reggie. I'm like, I already know, because I'm like, oh, he's busy. I know, yeah.
I have done the same.
You know what I mean? And I was gonna ask, I was
Yeah.
like, do you feel like kind of being like, do you feel like you were also the same way with like your homies that had children? Do you feel like it was like also like a shift as well?
Oh, for sure. I think. See, like with me, it was like in New York, nobody had kids.
Yeah.
So like I never had to really run into that problem.
Got you.
You
Okay.
know. But like Detroit, I know a lot of people with kids. So I've hung out with them completely different pre-kids and post-kids. Or it's like you gotta give a little more of a notice once they have kids. They gotta find somebody, to babysit the kids and everything. Stuff I just did not have to think about because I'm like, hey, I'm inviting you out. Like, let's go. So I gotta see if I gotta sit there all that. Now I'll be on the other side. I'm like, okay, I completely understand because you can't just get up and go like you could, before you had a child and whatnot. But I definitely know I did it, like for sure. Like and that's why I don't fault anybody for doing that. It's just funny seeing on the other side when it's like, yeah, so this is what this was like.
Yeah.
But hey, like I had to learn. Other people had to learn. Just let the person tell you no.
Yeah.
Like
that's true.
Or just check in. That's really the easy part. If you check in, it's like you'll learn everything. It's like what type of freedom they have or what freedom they don't have and whatnot. It's always good to just check in on your friends, check in on your people.
Yeah. The communication, man, it is important because it's something I've been seeing it with like a lot of my friends is that our lives are changing, and so when we're able to have conversations about what the friendship is going to look like, it makes it in a way where we can still continue to support each other in a way where it's like we don't have to guess what it means to show. We kind of have an understanding of what the other person needs and what their capacity is at that moment. So I love that. I wanted to, I know, we talked a little bit about it, but having a son, man, it's like, and I see how much you light up when you talk about him, which is beautiful. What would you, with love, what is one lesson about love that you want to pass down to baby boy?
That's a good question. Just one. Always lead with love. I think that's good. Especially when it comes to your family and friends. I think I think that's important. I've never really had like family issues, and I've rarely had like friend issues because I feel like I've always been able to maintain a relationship with people close to me. And everybody's different. I don't treat everybody the same way. I think that's like a misconception that's like, oh yeah, like treat everybody good, whatever, blah, blah. I treat everybody good, but your personality is completely different from, I don't know, one of our other line brothers.
Yeah.
So, I can't really talk to you or treat you the same way I can them because you might take offense to it, or they might take offense to it. You might not. Can't talk to them the same way. You just know your friends or whatnot, but you still love everybody the same way.
Yeah.
And same thing with family members. Like some people are super lovey-dovey. Some people kind of need their space a little bit, but they still love you all the same. Yeah. But it depends on what you exude. I think this is gonna sound like not self-centered, but I think
Speak on that.
Hey, nah, I'm just because it's like when I talk, I hate talking about myself. But
you should have said that. All right.
But like I think this answer really is like about myself. I think what I exude is like love to a lot of people. Like I think I have like a lot of friends because everybody is like, man, Reggie is cool. Yeah. Like, or Reggie has good energy and whatnot. Yeah. So I think that's like the main thing. I mean, I think you can kind of back me up on this one.
Yeah, for sure.
Agree.
For sure.
Like, and it's a reason why I have like friends from Howard, friends from Detroit, like friends from everywhere. Like everywhere I go, I like manage to make a large amount of friends. Like you said earlier, throw parties, all that, throw gatherings, whatever. Like people are attracted to me.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's just because of me leading with love with everybody. You know, and just figuring out like different ways to communicate with people differently based on how I see that love coming back to me.
Yeah. Where does that come from?
So that is an amazing question. Man, I think it's a combination of my parents being from Detroit and them putting me in different situations, whether it's sports, schools I went to, and everything, and just my personality, which comes from my mom primarily, but it's just like a melting pot of all that in one, and yeah, here I am, you know.
Do you feel like that's something that, have you always been that way, or do you feel like that was like it was a certain period where you were like, I just started doing this more?
For the most part, I feel like I've always been that way, especially like once I was like late elementary, middle school. I feel like, you know, it's just a different level. It was more like sports and like sleepovers and stuff.
Yeah.
That was like the start of it. And then, you know, you get to high school and then start having people over at the house every weekend. You start going different stuff. You start throwing little things here and there. And you just see the progression like, all right, this is just like a high school thing, Detroit thing. But then you get to Howard and it's like, oh, I'm doing the same thing at Howard that I was doing back at home. Yeah. So it's not just like, oh, it just depends on the area I'm in. It's like, oh, I can do this pretty much anywhere. New York, I've been doing the same thing out here, you know. And it's funny enough, I kind of think I started out as like a shy kid, but looking back, I just was like super chill, laid back, and just watching everybody else be hype and just like, oh yeah, that's cool. But I like being myself. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It is what it is.
Okay, I love that. I feel like I'm like, because the thing is like we've known each other for a couple years, you know what I mean? And
more than a couple at this
I know.
It's all right.
More than 10.
You know? Right, exactly. Over a decade.
Oh, you know what I mean? And you know, it's like you lead with love, and I was like curious of like how do you receive love? Like how can people return that love that you oftentimes give to others?
I think I receive it well. I'll say that first. That's the first part of the question. But I think I had to somewhat learn how to receive it well. Not to say I received it bad, but I'm just like, man, get out of here. Like, you know, like I'm just doing this like cause, you know, I want to do it or whatever, you know. But like people really do love you and people really are appreciative of you, you know. And then I just have come to appreciate that, you know, like for real. Like going to like a birthday party, I'll just speak on this because it literally was last weekend. Like all the people who keep coming out every year, or if they miss a year, they come to the next one or whatever. Or the people just who call me, who text me, who bring little Reggie clothes, like, you know, all type of little things that like I'm not even asking for it. Like I'm literally just doing this really for everybody else to have a good time, even though it's my birthday. That's like a reunion for all y'all. But everybody is like, you know, like, no, this is you. Like this is what you have done. Like we are here to celebrate you. Especially this time, because there's like a combination of the birthday and like the album release. So it's literally like, yo, congrats, bro. Yeah. That's big. Yo, like, congratulations, like, for real. Like, no, that's something major. And it's like, you know, thank you. Like, really appreciate it. So, yeah, it's full circle. Like, I appreciate it, you know, and I appreciate that everybody recognizes, you know, the love I put out there for sure.
Yeah. So it sounds like what I'm hearing is like how you prefer to receive love is through like that recognition.
I think it's cool to be recognized. Yeah, I guess you could say that. Yeah. But it's not like I need it per se. But I think it's always good to be recognized, you know, because I think at the end of the day, I'm gonna do what I want to do regardless. Like whether I get the recognition or not. Like out the goodness of my heart, like I'm still gonna do it. Like I'm not doing things to be recognized. You know, I'm doing things because I feel that it's the right thing to do.
For sure. Well, the only reason why I asked that is because it's like when you were talking about like how people were expressing this like appreciation for you, it's just like that sounds like it's like the recognition of how people see you, and not to say that it's like I need this, but it's also something that you kind of appreciate.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's pretty much like validation. It's like validation for myself that all right, I was right. Like I was doing the right thing. I agree with that. Like it not validation, but confirmation.
Yeah, confirmation.
Yeah, not validation.
Yeah.
Confirmation that okay. I thought this was the right thing to do, and I thought like this was a good move, and I love this, and I love these people, and it's just confirming that, it was.
Yeah, because and this kind of go back to what I was asking, because I feel like for me, right, it's like people who are like the ones who are oftentimes given love. It's like also I always like to make space and ask like, well, how do you like to receive love?
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like when you're giving, this is the ways in which you do it, but how do you like to receive it? So that's why I was asking if recognition was one of the ways. But if not, what are the ways that you're like, this is how people like my loved ones love me?
I mean, and now he has spoken on it. I would throw recognition in there, like definitely a good way, and it kind of goes back to even when you asked earlier. About like lessons that a woman has taught you. It's like like loudly expressing like that love and whatnot, which kind of ties into the recognition. But honestly, ways people can show me, man, just take my love and do something with it. I say that like. Take my help or advice, whatever, and just don't let it just go in one ear and out the other, or just go down in vain. Like pay it forward, or just show that it has affected you in some way. You don't even have to tell me, but like if I give you some encouragement, or give you some money, or like help you get a job, or connect you with somebody creatively or whatnot, and just finish that project. Or take that money and do something with it, or take that advice and apply it to your career or whatnot, and get a promotion or get a new job, whatever. Like showing me that okay, like you actually were listening, and what I gave out was beneficial to you. And to me that honestly is like okay, like I like that. Like, that's perfect for me.
That's dope, man. I oftentimes think about like, so for those, actually not a lot of people know this, but I was like, I'm about to bring it up because I was just like, yo, man, it made me think, when you said that, it made me think about, even me moving to New York, bro.
I knew you was about to say
you know what I mean? Like, so when I moved to New York, I stayed with Reggie for like the first 2-3 months.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like
studio apartment
in Jamaica, Queens, man. Like literally, last stop on the F train. All right. And for those of you who know,
right?
But like that within itself really, man, made it possible to be able to be here. You know what I mean? And like 6 years later, it's just like it was, like that expression of love that you offered, bro, was like super critical, and I really do appreciate it, man.
But that's a prime example of what I just said, though. Like literally, like you found your own place. This is your second place since that one.
Nah, like third
place, right? Got a great job, like. But literally, it was like, oh, you ain't gotta give nothing back to me besides you just being successful. Like, if you're gonna move out here and stay with me in the studio, hey, just use the time wisely, and just go ahead, and you did. But that's my point. Like perfect. Like literally, that's a perfect example, actually.
Yeah, man. Nah, I appreciate that, man. Not true.
Oh yeah, man. It's nothing. It's all good. It's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. No, for sure. I think this is a great time to like move into like our next segment of the podcast, which is called Dropping Gems. And so pretty much for those of you who are new, there's this bowl right here. This bowl has like different aspects of love. So it has self-love, family love, spiritual love, romantic love, friendship love. All right. And so pretty much I'm going to pick one of the words out of the bowl. Super random, never know what it's going to be. And the question that I was going to ask is like, what what's your favorite gem about this aspect of love, and why or how did you learn that gem? All right, so that's pretty much the question. All right. So this also is a jingle, you know what I mean? It changes every time, so this is don't even feel free. Don't even worry about trying to jump into this one, all right? But yeah, so we dropping what? We dropping gems. 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 We dropping what? What? What we dropping? What we dropping gems? We dropping what? We dropping gems. We dropping what? We dropping gems. We dropping what? We dropping gems. We dropping what? What? All right. You know, that was a new one, y'all. Debuted in today. Live and direct. All right. So. All right. So let's see what this word is going to be. All right. Let's see. All right. Let's see what we got today. Okay. Romantic love. I feel like we've talked a lot about that though.
You want to do another one? Or?
Yeah. Let's do another one. All
right, cheating the game already.
Hey, look, man. Hey. Let's see what else we got.
It's rigged. You could have just pulled that and just said it was something else.
You know, actually, we're gonna do romantic love just because we're gonna stick romantic love. Actually, you know what? Because I was like, nah, man, it's actually.
You want to pull another one?
No.
You just did all that. Pull another one.
You sure, man?
You just we just talked about this.
I'm saying if you want to talk about it, you can talk about it.
I'm saying you want to talk about something else. That was your first. Your first response was like, yeah, we kind of talked about this.
I know, man, but I don't want. I felt like when the reason why I was hesitant about it because I was like, oh man, it's actually. We as black men, we should be talking about we could talk about romantic love as much. We could spend this whole episode talking about romantic love. We don't have to just what I mean. So that's why I was like, but you know what? I'm gonna honor that gut instinct actually, and I'm gonna just stick with this, man.
That's your second gut instinct. The first gut instinct was to pull another one.
It wasn't.
You literally was like, oh no, we talking about this. We got to pull another one. Like, this is recorded. You know that. Like,
it's recorded. Yeah.
So that wasn't your gut instinct. It's your show, though. Go ahead.
So for those of you who don't know, this is also, we're home. This is my friend, but also it's also a line brother. You know what I mean? So this is what you're seeing in real time, line brothers talking smack with each other. All right, so we're gonna stick romantic love, y'all. All right, that's what we're doing today. All right, so. When you think of romantic love, what's your favorite gem and why?
My favorite gem. I gotta come up with a gem.
No, just when you think of what's your when you heard romantic love and you were like, man, this gem right here, this is it was the first thing that popped in your mind.
Listen to your partner was the first thing that popped in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as romantic love, listen to your partner.
Mm-hmm.
This can go all type of different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the bedroom, listening to your partner.
Yeah.
Listening to them physically.
Mm-hmm.
Verbally as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now I kind of feel like I said all this earlier about listening and paying attention, but it kind of does go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
Pay attention to what they enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Pay attention to what they don't like.
Mm-hmm.
Listen if they say it, but also listen to their reaction or whatnot. Mm-hmm. And then outside of that, just listen to the things they like, listen to the things they don't like, where this is very New York centric, but I like taking walks in the park. All right, spontaneous, let's go walk around Prospect Park, Central Park, whatever. I like going to this spot for brunch, or I like going to the zoo or whatnot, or just little cues out there. They could be on the phone talking to somebody, or if you're watching the Today Show or whatever, I actually got a great example about this. sidetrack. But Today Show was on. Chaz watched the Today Show faithfully.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm watching Get Up in the other room. You know, sports, of course, always. But she's a huge Golden Girls fan.
Okay.
Loves Golden Girls, and it's like 34-year-old black woman, like Golden Girls, middle-aged white woman, like what's going on here? But loves Golden Girls. So they were having this pop-up in the city, and it was like a Golden Girls pop-up restaurant. They had like stuff from the show, like the bedroom and like the kitchen area and all that. And I don't even know if she actually saw this or like I actually don't know if she saw this or not. But she was there, like in the room, but I think she was doing something else. And I'm like, oh, that's crazy that they're doing this like right in New York.
Yeah.
So of course, what I do, go online, look it up, see where it's at, make a reservation, all that. I'm like, oh yeah, like, you know, we're going somewhere Friday night or Saturday night. You know, going to dinner. Like, you know, let's go take the train, whatever. And she had no idea, like, where we going. And then we went, and she was like, oh my God. Like, it's like the greatest thing of all time. It's like, how did you even find this? Like, all that. And I'm like, dog, you watch the Today Show every day. And the one time you not paying attention, they talking about the pop-up for your favorite show. So I'm like, of course, that's what we doing, you know. And they had like Golden Girls themed drinks and like the menu and everything.
That's dope.
But all in all, it's just like romantic love, just like go back to like the main point of like listening and paying attention and like learning your partner and whatnot. And, you know, I think that that was just a prime example, you know.
Yeah. Now, it sounds like the added part to is like taking action though too.
For sure.
Because like, you know, it's like you talked about the listening and learning, but then there's also like you took action based off of the information that you learned to then do something to show.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, that's the result of all the notes you have in your brain, or if you are somebody who actually likes writing stuff down, of the listening and paying attention. And yeah, like you said, take action based on what you have gathered.
Yeah. And I feel like, because I know we talked about this earlier, but do you feel like you shared why that is like your, or how you learned that lesson about just like the importance of like listening and taking action?
I think how I learned that lesson is a good question. I think after so many times of like listening and like kind of taking action, but like listening and like not taking action, you realize like, hey, if I just would have done this a little differently, like things would have been a lot better. Not to say like things are bad, but just like oh yeah, I knew that. Like, oh yeah, I should have done this. It's like hindsight is always 20/20, but it's like it could have been easy just for me to just go one step further and just do this, as opposed to just sitting on this like, oh yeah, I know that. Like I'm gonna just like chill, like wait out a little bit. I might do something, might not. Whereas opposed to it's just like, I'm just go ahead and do it because I know like this is gonna be good. It's gonna be cool. Like she'll like it. It's the right thing to do. Like I can't go wrong if I just go ahead and do it. It always works.
Yeah, yeah. And I, you know, even thinking about this gym, man, it's like such a critical lesson because I know we were talking about, you know, like the divorce rate, you know, earlier about it's like how it's higher for our generation, and I think one of the gem that you just shared about romantic love could be something that's just really helpful in general.
Yeah, and actually now saying that I got another one, because just in my situation, like make sure you keep dating after you have kids. Well, I think that's very important because a child will take up all of your time, make you tired a lot. You know, a lot of sleepless nights, especially early on in the beginning, and everybody handles like rest and sleep differently. Like I'm more of a night owl, Chaz really not. So like, you know, I always had the first half of the night shift because I'm gonna be up anyway, probably watching a game or something. And I'm like, please get your sleep because I know you need it. Like I can sleep a lot less and be fine. You need all 8 hours if you can get it. So take your time, take your sleep. But you still have to make sure like you're able to enjoy each other. Like, you know, we just now starting to really have like a babysitter and whatnot. So, but that's giving us time back with each other where we can go on dates again and whatnot. And I mean, our son has been all over the place this past year. So the times we've been in Detroit, it's like, hey, grandparents, here you go. Like, we out, times we've been in Memphis, same thing. It's like, yeah, we need this time.
Yeah.
Like, so just keep loving your partner, even in the situation of having your child, your children or whatnot, and just make sure y'all always dating.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you, man. I really appreciate you sharing that, and I think the others can resonate with that as well. So I think that this kind of getting closer to the end of the episode, which is pretty much so in All About Love, New Vision by Bell Hooks. She talks about really the invitation for people to return back to love, right? And so when you thinking about all the things that and just see in the world right now, and just you being someone who leads with love, how can people return back to love?
People can return back to love by man, just like sometimes don't you just want to kind of go back to like the old days of like the 90s and like early 2000s, like before we had like all this social media and like everybody was so accessible and just like everybody kind of like lived in the moment.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of like what we have forgotten like the past like 5 to 10 years and whatnot. Like just like it's just so much going on in the world and so accessible. You got your phone in your hand 24/7 and all that. But it's like, man, like there's really human beings out here. Yeah. Like it's not like a phone screen. And if you realize like the person you're talking to on the other end of that phone is a human,
yeah,
you might come with some love,
Yeah.
Or if you're walking around the city, you actually pick your head up and not looking down at your phone and actually like talk to somebody, like, you might end up loving that person as a friend, as just a neighbor or whatnot, just like communal aspect and whatnot. But we just got to get back to just like being together and like, I don't know, just realizing that everybody is different, but like we not all that different at the end of the day, like different races, different sexes, different genders, everything. But I mean, we all like want the same thing in life. Like everybody wants to be loved. Yeah. Like I don't care like what your situation is, who you love, whatever. But everybody wants to feel love at the end of the day. And just remember that, because when you're talking to somebody, like that person wants to feel love the same way you want to feel love.
Yeah. I love that, man. I love that. It's like a reminder to be present.
Yep.
But also to really, lead with love. Yeah. And remembering like that we are all going through different things. We're moving through the world and different things. And even though there might be things that we make us unique, there's more things that we also have in common.
For sure.
And to not get lost in the uniqueness of it or feel like because of our uniqueness, we can't be loving towards one another, but actually it's an invitation to learn to love the uniqueness, even possibly, I love that, man. Thank you.
For sure.
Well, yo, man, this was a great episode. I appreciate you like pulling up, and I feel like I got a chance to learn a little bit more about you, which I think is every time with each episode, it's always like a beautiful thing because I'm like, oh, I knew that, but like, I hear you say that, I'm like, oh, that's cool, and I greatly appreciate our friendship, bro. You know what I mean?
Sure, I do
our
too.
Brotherhood, and just thank you for pulling up to the podcast. And is there any words that you want to say to the homies?
Nah, man. I mean, I appreciate you for having me. Excuse me. Appreciate you for having me. It's a great conversation. Yeah. These talks, like I said before, like we talk all the time, but it's cool to like talk about different subjects, and from the usual things we talk about and whatnot. And then, man, just keep going. Like, you have a good thing going on. I've enjoyed some of the previous episodes. I don't want to break down the fourth wall. Like I've been on here before.
You have, man. You have.
I couldn't be myself without. But it's, this one, like I feel like this was great. This is probably even better than the first time because, like, I went through it before, and this time I kind of knew what to expect and just the flow and everything. And you've also gotten better as well. And like, that's a testament to like the amount of time you put into this, like all the work you put into the production value has clearly grown, like going up and whatnot. So just keep going. And everybody go stream Doze, DLZ, the album, everywhere, Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, all that. Some good music on there. R Doze and Key Wayne, and looking forward to this one dropping, and looking forward to all the subsequent episodes after.
For sure, man. And also, do you want to share your social?
Yeah, I'm at DOZ_EQUIS. That's Dos Equis. I play on Dos Equis. If you know, you know. The most interesting man in the world. Instagram, Twitter, or X, whatever. I still call it Twitter. Yeah. Threads, all that. If you see Dos Equis somewhere with a Z and an underscore, it's me. So, holla at y'all.
All right, well, I appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. And so for the homies, appreciate you all for tuning into another episode of the Palo Santo Thoughts podcast. And please, if you haven't, please get the book All About Love, New Visions by Bell Hooks. And I hope that you have a great rest of the. Oh dang! Before I even close, I didn't even say the socials. So you can follow us at Palo Santo and Thoughts on Instagram and also TikTok. And follow us, check us out, and I hope that you have a great rest of the evening, morning, afternoon, and just take care of yourself. All right. Until next time. Peace.